You are listening to 600 Second Saga. Today's feature is The Girl Who Surfed Tsunamis by Mariah Avix. I don't remember when I started. Mom said I always loved to go out when we were absolutely not supposed to go outside. I'd sneak past everyone and head down to the water. My older sisters were supposed to watch me and they'd get in trouble because I'd sneak out. I didn't care. I still don't. I want to be in the water. I know when the water is angry. I can feel it coming. I never get hurt. I bring home cool stuff I find in the water. Once, I found a really shiny ring. It was hanging from a tree branch. Mom and Dad sold it. They don't complain about me going out anymore. The best thing I found was a surfboard. I didn't take it home. Mom and Dad would sell it. I'd seen people surfing, but they always got out of the water when it was getting angry. They were scared. I wasn't scared. The surfboard was twice as tall as me, and it was hard to get out of my hiding spot. I giggled as I walked down toward the shore with the surfboard on my head. It was too big to carry under my arms. Mom said I shouldn't laugh when the water got angry. But it was funny, just like when Grandfather got mad and his face got puffy and red. I knew the water was bad for some people and for the fields, but Mom got to be mad, and Dad, and even my brothers and sisters could be angry sometimes. Because I was the littlest, everyone just laughed when I got mad. Most of the people were gone by the time I got all the way down to the water. I tried to remember what I'd seen people do in surfing movies. I laid down on the board in the water and slapped at the water. My arms barely stretched across the board, and I couldn't get them to go into the water very well. So I got off and pushed it in front of me and swam out as far as I could, kicking my legs behind me. When I was far enough out that I couldn't see my house up on the hill anymore, I pulled myself onto the board. I tried to stand up and fell. I had to try 4 more times before I managed to stand up and stay up. I looked around. There was no one else in the water. There was no one I could see on the shore. The water was very angry. I giggled. I wasn't sure how to get further out into the water without laying down again. I managed to stand on the middle of the surfboard and kick 1 foot in the water, but I didn't go anywhere. I decided I'd just stand and wait for the big wave to come to me. It would be here soon. I did a tiny little shuffle on the board and fell in again. By the time I managed to climb back up on the board and turn to face out, I could see the wave coming toward me. I could hear the water. It was screaming mad. I screamed with it. It was good to scream sometimes when you were mad. Mom said I had to behave and be a good little girl, but it felt so good to scream. And no one was here to yell at me. I knew the water wouldn't mind, so I screamed with the water. It was so much louder than I was. I couldn't even hear myself. The water under me started to bob up and down. My feet slipped again and I dropped to my knees. The water was much higher. I thought it would be better maybe to lay down on the board. I slipped as the water moved faster around me and knocked my chin on the board, but I managed to wrap my hands around the sides and my toes hooked under the end, just as the first wave pushed me way up into the air. I screamed and squealed. It felt like the wave was as tall as my house. The wave kept going, but I stayed where I was. I couldn't see my house or the shore at all. Then another, bigger wave lifted me up. I squealed with excitement. I was definitely as tall as my house now. I stayed on top of this wave. I held onto the board, but pushed myself up a little bit more so I was kneeling on the top of the giant wave. Shore was racing toward us. The water felt so angry I screamed for it. The wave got smaller. Maybe the water was angry that it got so tiny when it was on land. I watched the wave eat some of the trees and the little hut that sold candy for kids and drinks for grown-ups along the shore. I wondered how far it would climb. I looked behind me and there were no bigger waves. The water wasn't so angry anymore. It was almost all screamed out. I was too. I wasn't sure how to get off the wave. I tried to think about the surfing movies. The water smashed me into a tree, and then it went away. I clung to the top of the tree and tried to hold on to my board. I had to let the board fall. The water took it away. I watched the next waves come in, less and less water, less and less angry. All yelled out. Then the water started to leave, go back home. I climbed down the tree and looked around for the surfboard before everyone else came back out of their houses. It was gone. But I did find a new pair of shoes and a surfboard that was barely taller than me. This was The Girl Who Surfed Tsunamis by Mariah Avix. More work can be found at 600 Second Saga. Check our show notes for links. 600 Second Saga is currently hosting audiobook giveaways. Please come to our website to sign up and learn more. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.